Hello guys, welcome back to the podcast. I am here with, you can introduce yourself.
Hi everyone, my name is Sophia Bromberg.
She and I met, so she's a UC Berkeley student, I'll speak for her. And we met my freshman year, her sophomore year. And we both got into one of those lucky elite consulting, it doesn't mean anything. Now that I'm older, I'm like, oh, it's so stupid. None of it mattered. But in the moment, it was prestigious. And
No, there were multiple rounds of interviews. It was
there were
intense.
3.
Yeah.
And you had a social round, wow. Yeah.
You had to dress business casual for some of them as well.
Yes.
It was crazy.
It was crazy. And also the funny part is once you're in, you're like, wait, this is what I was fighting for, low-key? Anyway, that's neither here nor there. But I want to say that the first time I met you, I don't think you know this, we were sitting down and it was this social round of interviews for this club. And I was so nervous. And you turned, or maybe I turned to you or something, but you were like, so what do you do? And I was like, well, I'm kind of in marketing. I have this startup. And you're like, oh, can you give me some marketing advice? Acting as if, yes, acting as if you knew nothing. You were acting as if
No, I didn't know nothing. I didn't know anything. I was asking that genuinely, probably.
No, but that's the funniest part, because let me get into it. I explained something. I was like, oh yeah, blah, blah, blah. I don't remember the advice that I gave, but it was probably bullshit. And then I was talking to a guy later in the night, and he was like, yeah, we have such incredible candidates this semester. One girl was nominated for a Grammy. And I was like, wait, who was nominated for a Grammy? He goes, oh, that girl over there. Tell me why it was you. I was like, gagged. I was like, why didn't she mention that? She downplayed herself so much. It was crazy.
That is funny. I do not remember that at all, actually.
So I'm only gonna go up after you, after that, and be like, my bad. I didn't know that you already knew all this stuff.
No, but I don't. I think the moment that you think that you know everything, that's when you
have failed.
Yourself. There are always so many opportunities in your life to consistently learn every single day. I hope that when I go to bed tonight that I've learned at least 10 things, if not more.
Okay, I want to take it back all the way to the first, so admittedly, after I met her, and I was like, Grammy, who is this bitch? And so I stalked you. I remember being in my dorm freshman year, and I was like, this girl's in my club, and I was showing my roommate, who I'm still roommates with, shout out Alex, and we found you on The Voice.
Oh!
Which I'm sure she's like, don't bring that up. Talk to me.
The Voice. Wow, it's really interesting.
I watched that shit religiously as a kid, by the way. I love The Voice.
It's an interesting piece of my life that I sometimes dissociate from, honestly, because it feels like such a different version of myself. I think especially during college, I really started to understand my authentic identity and really come into myself and develop a newfound sense of confidence that was rooted in my character rather than any sort of external validation. What is always my vibe is taking risks and being and embracing discomfort. So
you know the videos of that one guy who wakes up super early and dunks his head in ice, and then he's like, "We're getting our grind on today." Oh my god,
Darman.
I'm gonna insert a clip right here. That is the vibe you're giving.
Please don't call me Darman.
I'm into,
No. But no, I do think that I always try to find ways in my daily life, not to sound cringe or cliche, to challenge myself or put myself out of my comfort zone. Because one of my biggest fears is staying the same. I always want to be growing, and I always want to be learning and becoming just a kinder, more compassionate and understanding version of myself. Because I think that's ultimately what makes me feel confident is when I know that I'm a good person. Yeah.
Every day waking up challenges me, so that's
good then.
That's how far I'm getting right now, but that's okay. I think for me especially, so I wanted to mention this at least. In terms of my busy week, I still managed to make it to, she had a little concert yesterday. It was very cute. It was at a wine bar, and I stopped by. And it's always such a pleasure to hear you sing live, because you really sound like you do in your music. It's shocking. I think a lot of artists, when you hear them, you're like, oh, wait, girl, what? You did not make that song. Versus I'm like, oh, bang for bang, word for word.
Oh, thank you.
So it's always very nice. Sadly, I only got to hear like the pre-bit, and I'll insert some clips here of like getting to see at least before the show started. She had a very cute dress, so I'm kind of sad I didn't get to see that since she was wearing.
Yeah, she saw me in my trench when it was very cold.
Button to
the top.
She had
Yes.
little. What is it? I don't remember the rest of the sound. I'm sorry, guys. It was about Lily Rose Depp. It was on the internet. Also, your new song. Who's screaming outside?
That's the Hell Yeah guy.
There's so many characters.
Yeah, there's a man that lives directly underneath my building and he screams Hell Yeah at least 40 times a day.
He also, if you scream Hell Yeah, he'll scream Hell Yeah back. Okay.
Yeah, but honestly, I've like developed a friendship with him, so it's okay.
You're like,
I've learned. It's funny because people come over here all the time and they're like, does the screaming or do other sounds on this street bother you? And I'm like, I've become so desensitized to the sound nowadays.
You guys get to experience it too.
Yeah, it adds a lot of character. You know, you're gonna miss it when
I leave.
Yeah, when you leave.
I'll be like, hell yeah.
But anyways, I did the voice when I was a junior in high school. When I was
like 16.
Yeah, I just turned 16. A lot of people don't know that The Voice is filmed like a year in advance. Like it takes a lot of planning and a lot of effort and audition rounds for you to end up on the blind audition, if that makes sense. So to provide a little bit of context, I think I sent in my first application. I think actually my sisters encouraged me, or they sent in my application for me of just a video of me singing at the piano. And I didn't really think that much of it because I was a sophomore in high school, didn't really know who I was. I was just focusing on school. Music was something that I just did for fun, and I liked to sing and play piano, but that was it. And I had never thought that I would reach a level where I could pursue it professionally. But anyway, so we submit this video of me singing Creep by Radiohead. It was like a 30-second clip. Yeah, amazing song. Peak of COVID too. So this is when I really started kind of getting into music and songwriting a little bit more, but not anything crazy. So then we submit this video and I don't hear from them for, 4 months or something. So I completely forget about it. Then another few months go by and I'm randomly scrolling through my spam email inbox. And I see this email from this producer from, a month before. And it says, hey, we saw your video. We really want to invite you to like the next round of The Voice. And I thought it was fake. I was like, this is so strange. Why is this in my spam? Yeah. But then, and I showed my sisters and my mom. And I was like, do you guys think this is real? And they were like, I don't know, but why not? Like, why not try? So then I emailed him back. And then he responded and he's like, okay, let's set up a Zoom interview next week. So I do the Zoom interview. And then after that, it goes well. Then he asks me to send like 3 more videos of me singing more like professionally shot. And then I made it past that round. And then they were like, we want to invite you to LA so that you could do this month-long training workshop thing. So basically what happens is then all of the people that have made it past those 3 rounds get flown down to LA, kind of, and they all stay at the same hotel, and you're basically training for a month. You get a song assigned, you get like an outfit assigned, you get a vocal coach to practice with. And during that time, people like can get eliminated. And this is all before the blind audition. So it's not like people are walking up to the stage and I'm just singing a song and they just like came off the street, like it's a very meticulous and calculated process, as it should be. Like it's a reality show, so the producers have to be very intentional with the people that they're showcasing and the stories that they want to convey on their network. But it was a really interesting learning experience for me because I was so naive to the inner workings of the music industry and the television industry and really understanding what it takes to be a successful artist today. Because you can't just have good music and like people want to understand you on a very deep internal level and feel that they belong to the world that you are creating with your art, I'm very grateful for the experience because I learned early on what aspects of your artistry I wanted to develop and which things that I was doing well, which things I needed to improve on. And obviously, like, working with Ariana was amazing too.
Wait, okay, so you do take one step back. I want people to know, sort of, okay, you make it to this final round.
Yes.
Of the, like, blind audition?
Yeah, so you do, like, a month long of the training, whatever. And then
it's the Hunger Games. You made it out.
Yes.
You were chosen.
Yeah, I was chosen as the tribute or whatever. And then it's like, then the blind auditions. I've never talked about this before, so it's like all of these thoughts are coming back to me randomly. But you have a week of the blind auditions, and basically, I remember you would get on a Zoom call the night before, and the producer would read out like the names that would go in the next day. And so you were just waiting, like you had numbers and they would call out these different numbers. And it was like, okay, the people going tomorrow are number 10, number 7, number whatever. And you could see people being like on the Zoom call. Like, that's my number. Because some people, like the coaches' teams only could fill up so many people. So towards the last few days, there were only like 3 spots left in the entire cast. And a lot of people just didn't get to audition at all because the teams were filled up. So I think I went on like the 3rd day. I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, so my name got called one night and I was like, dope, I'm gonna audition tomorrow. And then I auditioned, I got 3 turns, which was really exciting. And then
not 3 turns to do it, you need 3 chairs.
3 chairs turn. one chance.
3 turns.
One chance. No, there are things that are very calculated on the voice, like how do you convey your story. But the actual blind audition, like when you're singing, is very real. Like they don't see you, their chairs are turned around. So that is one thing that is very accurate.
And once you get selected or chairs turn, what is that like?
I honestly don't remember anything. I completely blacked out that day. But I do remember I was very, very nervous because it was my first time.
Oh my god, that was exciting.
Yeah, it was my first time performing live for people that weren't my family members or my friends.
And it's like the whole world.
Right. I was in my high school was kind of like a performing arts high school, so Marine Academy. Yes. Marine Academy has a great music program, and that's ultimately what I think brought me out of my shell a little bit more. But freshman and sophomore year, I was in bands. I was doing the music thing, but I was very shy. I was timid, and I wasn't really like confident in myself or my appearance either. So I just think that being on The Voice, it was a very like jarring experience because I was kind of exposing myself and being very vulnerable in so many different ways to the entire world. But I think after I filmed everything, once I got eliminated and came back to school senior year, I was just so much more like sure of myself. And
you've seen some shit.
I saw a lot of things and I experienced a lot of things. But it ultimately was fun. Gave me a great college essay.
Oh, I'm sure. Oh, I wish I could have read that. I'm curious, so you were chosen, or you picked Ariana.
Yeah.
For the people that had turned their chairs. What is the process like after you get chosen or after that first round?
After the first round,
Little Hannah's so happy right now that I get to ask these questions that I totally would want to know.
To talk about it. So after the first round, well, first let me preface by saying Ariana was such a unique coach. I don't know the experience of people that were on other teams, but Ariana, it was her first and only season that she ever did with The Voice. So she was so involved with her team members. She sent us flowers to our hotel room, like handwritten notes, care packages. Like she's genuinely the most compassionate person I've ever met. And she cares so deeply, not only about humans in general, but the development of young upcoming artists. And she really wanted to encourage us to not copy her, not copy any other vocalists that we admire, but really just try to understand what our authentic voice is and choose songs and choose placements that really felt like us and our voice. And I think that's ultimately what I took away from the entire experience is that, wow, do I know how to sing, or do I just know how to imitate people really well? And it kind of put me on this new journey of really understanding what is my authentic voice in both a personal, communicative way, but also a singing way. Like, what tone feels the most Sophia, and what songs and lyrics.
An incredible, and like, I'm those people where like there was always that one girl in school who like would sing to herself, and you'd be like, oh shut up, girl. Like, but no, like. And here's the thing, the difference from, because I watched, and we'll insert right here somewhere the clip of you in The Voice, people have some context, which will kill you inside, but I'm sorry.
It's okay. I embrace all versions of myself now.
I need more of that energy for myself. But, like, seeing that compared to your music now, like, you have a beautiful R&B voice. Like, that is really where you shine, I think. And, like, incredible riffs as well. I think that's what it's called, guys.
Yes. Riffs.
Snaps.
You got it.
But like, there's actually, so one of my friends that I met last year in the EFB, the club that we're in, she and I connected, and I was talking about people who used to be in, like, who presented in our pitch competition the first session.
Did we say EFB stands for Entrepreneurs at Berkeley?
Sorry.
That's the club that we met in.
Yes. Thank you. I forget that not everyone exists in my little world. And so we met and we were talking about people that had pitched previously, and I was like, oh yeah, there's this girl, she's currently abroad though in London, Sophia Bromberg, and my friend goes, wait, what? And I was like, did I stutter? Like, no, that's the name of the girl. And she's like, no, that's my top artist on Spotify. And I was like,
what? Stop.
I was like, are you
what's her name?
Her name is Elena.
I don't know your last name. I don't think.
Sorry. She's from Japan. She only came here for a year.
Oh, okay.
When we were abroad, she came abroad here. She is a sweetheart. I adore her. But, yeah, crazy. She's like, no, like, you understand Moon Child? Like, I love
Moon Baby?
Moon Baby. I'm so sorry.
No, that's okay. Elena, I love you.
And the funniest thing is, my favorite song of hers, you came out with in high school. I'm sorry.
What song?
Lately.
That was the first song I ever made. I ever released.
And I love that song. And also Sesame.
Oh yeah, that's a fun one.
Is it just Sesame? Okay. See, I'm pulling this out of my
yes.
guys.
No,
but I do have these songs on my playlist. I feel so bad about the Moon Baby, not Child.
No, don't worry at all.
Yeah. So yes, but I did want to give a little shout out to Elena because I just know she'd be pissed off at me if I didn't. She was so sad she never got to meet you.
What?
Because she
Elena, come back. We can hang out.
Actually, her boyfriend goes to Stanford, so she will come back.
Okay.
And I would love it because she loved. Like,
no, we totally have to
you're at the top of her spot, and she's like, no, there's this niche artist.
I love being a niche artist.
In her room, like, what do you? I was like,
no. Sometimes there's such a beauty in being a niche artist because also like I'm at a period in my career right now where. I mean, I have a small following, but not nearly my end goal. And I think that's so exciting because if there's a time, sorry, now I'm laughing because we're hearing it together. But if there's any time to experiment with content and with putting out just a plethora of diverse music that is from all different genres, it's right now. And that is so freeing because I think we just need to play more in general. Like all people, not just artists or creatives. Every human needs to just get back in a whimsical, childlike curiosity state and just play and have fun and experiment with things because that's how you learn. And so I find it really exciting when someone calls me a niche artist. I'm like,
no, like, she was like, I gatekeep. Like, oh, it was such
if someone is saying they're gatekeeping me, like that is ultimate compliment.
No, I know. I was like, this is so funny to me because I know like, she did not believe me. She was like, no, like you don't understand. I was like, no, I do understand. I know Sophia. Like,
oh,
it was so cute. Maybe we'll have you guys FaceTime soon because she would be so sad if you,
we totally should.
If she never got to meet you in some way or another.
What I will say about your compliment, which I greatly appreciate, I do think that the music industry has evolved so much to a point where it actually doesn't matter. Like sometimes the most successful artists aren't the ones that sound the same live as their studio version. But that's okay, honestly, like because music has evolved into so much more than a live performance with vocals, drums, bass, guitar, keys, you know? Like there are things like Charlie XCX. You wonder why she is so popular. It's not necessarily because she's the best vocalist in the world, but it's because she has created such a cohesive and salient world for people to grab onto. And I think I was really reluctant, honestly, to accept that because I was similar to what you were saying. Like I was like, the famous musician should be based on their talent, their pure talent, their skill, and their ability to write a good song. And while I still really do believe in that, I do think that it's important that we, as artists, as any type of entrepreneur, because that's what we are consistently adapting to the changing world, because that's the only way that we're going to be able to build a community is if people feel that we're not directly like pushing something into their face at all times, but really just wanting to connect with them. And people want to connect on more levels than just listening to a song. They want to feel a world when they listen to it. They want to see colors. They want to feel a smell. They want to see what outfit they would wear to your concert, you know? Yeah, I think the music industry is changing so quickly, and I really think that it's an artist's duty to just fully embrace that change, no matter how chaotic it may be, because that's ultimately what's so beautiful about the world is that it can change in milliseconds, you know?
How do you feel about AI in music?
That's a great question. I actually just attended a music expo conference in San Francisco last weekend, and they were doing tons of panels about AI production and AI artists. And what I'll say is artificial intelligence, just like any technological tool, can be helpful and it can be harmful if put in the wrong or correct hands, you know? I do think that there is a certain aspect of music, same with like religion, that just is so irreplaceable, where people are able to relate to one another because of human experience. Like most recent song I released, Find My Friends. Like
we're about to, that was my next question.
I wrote it about navigating friendships in your adolescence and the feeling of not being invited to things and then people saying you can come if you want. Worst thing ever. Like
stabbed in the
literally
heart.
Heart-wrenching. And I don't think that there is anything robotic that could recreate something like that, because the conversation that we're having right now, you wouldn't be able to feel the same sense of connection if you were talking to ChatGPT, even if you programmed it to say, mock a conversation with a girl that is passionate about X, Y, and Z, and she wrote a song about this, and here are the lyrics. Like, it's very different still. But I do think that there are certain aspects of AI that are actually very helpful. Definitely like streamline the process of the very logistical sides of the music industry. So like uploading things to DSPs or like distribution platforms like Spotify, Apple Music, whatever. Reading through legal documents and making sure to proofread them and knowing that like whatever. But when you're talking about AI use in the creative sense, it's always a balance, because you can go into Rhyme Zone, you can go into ChatGPT to find words to rhyme your songs or your lyrics with. You can really, I truly believe you can tell and you can hear it in an artist's voice when they believe what they're saying or when they wrote what they're saying versus when it was programmed. I do think it's interesting that certain AI artists are replacing the streams, or they're not competing with human artists. I still don't know exactly how I feel about that. Maybe like artists on Spotify that are AI or AI voices should be labeled made with AI just to make sure to distinguish that. But at the panel, they were actually asking, do you think it's appropriate, let's say Billboard Top 100, should AI artists be able to get into that top 100, or should it be a separate list? And the main consensus was, no, they should be able to be in the top 100, because the way that our streams are evaluated today is just like who's listening to what and like at what magnitude almost. Because even though an AI artist is singing the song, someone still had to program that. Like there's still a human behind that creative process. And so it's more just, I think, being able to really distinguish where the creative process exists and knowing that there is still humanity in AI generated voices. But I'm very, like, personally, I'm very skeptical of
Me
it.
too.
But and it makes me scared because when artificial intelligence first kind of like came onto the scene, I was like, okay, fine, it's great for schoolwork and busy work and logistical spreadsheets or whatever, but it's never gonna touch the creative industries at all. But now it kind of is, and it definitely frightens me a little bit, but I try to see the benefits of it just because I know that it's so important that humans are adapting alongside.
But my thing is that like ChatGPT will never have a soul crushing situationship with a frat guy who like definitely
right.
Like,
but that's why I think I definitely see a movement of humans just in general really wanting to connect with each other on deep human raw vulnerable levels. Like, why are we doing this podcast right now? Why are we even talking about this? Why did I have that event last night where it wasn't just me singing to the tracks, but like in the second half of my performance I did a lyric breakdown of my song Blue Love, which I basically wrote about how worried I am about the future Earth, you know? There are things and there are tons of efforts that humans are going through to try to preserve the feeling of being human. And so I do have confidence that we'll never lose sight of that. It is scary, though, to think that AI is the least developed it is right now.
I know, and I think for me, like, that's also...
But we are also the least developed versions of ourselves, you know?
Yeah, when I look at Quilly in the future, I think that the way that people are pushing back against this technology gives me hope, and the traction that we've seen of people interested in getting in person again and getting off their computers. I mean, I got something recently, I was talking about the work that we do, and they were like, well, you don't really need to be in person now. They can, like, why don't you just build an AI bot that they can talk to? And I wanted to bitch slap them. I wanted to be like, you don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, it's like, the problem with AI at the end of the day is a lack of friction. When we talk to AI, it doesn't tell us that we're wrong. It doesn't tell us what we're doing is bad. If you told it a situation that you did, like, I blew up someone's car, and I then, like, peed on the remains of the car. Like, ChatGPT would probably be like, that was ill-advised. But what made you want to do that? Instead of being like, that's wrong. You should go and apologize. Like, that's not okay. Like, there's a lack of accountability, and also they've started to see with people who have, like, these AI girlfriends or boyfriends. Like, there was an event that's after that. Crazy. Relationships are supposed to be messy. They're supposed to be complicated. Humans inherently are not perfect. And I think that's kind of beautiful. But these AI bots are programmed to cater to your every need. And so if you ever try to transition into a, like, human partner, you have that, like, well, when I was dating Sora.ai, my girlfriend, like, she would never tell me that I had to do that, or she would never, and it's like, yeah, but she's not real. I have feelings too. Like, ChatGPT has no feelings. Although I did swear it the other day, and it said, I will not proceed until you talk nicer to me.
Oh,
I was like, so sorry, queen. Moving forward. Like, besides that, interactions, for the most part, they don't have feelings, and so you can't hurt their feelings with what you say, versus if your behavior has an impact on the world. And so people have every right to respond how they respond.
Right. I think it definitely desensitizes us, or it separates us more and more from feeling in general. And it almost stigmatizes it to an extent that I think is very problematic, because I think humans should be encouraged more today to be able to feel everything and not feel shame about that, and actually see it as inherently biological and necessary for our survival. Like, every emotion exists for a reason. Anxiety exists because it's trying to tell us threats. Like, if we're walking, sorry, this motorcycle gang always comes at like this time on Fridays.
Motorcycle gang.
Yeah.
Here is crazy.
There's a reason why we feel everything, and the only reasons why we connotate certain emotions as negative or deserving of shame or embarrassment is because we're just reacting to them that way. But like everything is necessary, and I think that AI, it really just depends on how you program it, like the human talking to it, because you could tell ChatGPT, well, talk to me in a way that echoes this ethos and gives me advice based on that.
To be told we're wrong.
Right, so that's the problem. But I think it's a balance between making sure that we have security in how like quickly AI is advancing, but also having a huge just like cultural shift in our own like human mindset, because it's both. Like the humans are the ones that are programming the AI, unless it gets to like a certain self-creating point.
Don't even go there.
But you can't deny that it's not just AI that's the problem. Like humans are still creating it, and there are still mindsets and biases and prejudices that are being put into that. But it's not necessarily that the robot's fault. The robot doesn't have feelings, right? The robot doesn't have bad intentions. It's humans that are having certain ideologies that they want to materialize or realize into objective form. So it really, I think, just goes back to making humans better.
Yeah.
And whatever we create, whatever objects or commodities that we create will become more moral as a result. But it starts with us, you know?
I agree. And speaking of starting with us, I really want you to kind of break down this song that you recently came out with.
Okay, yeah.
Because it was so interesting to me. I think the problem with social media is that you see a person and you think like, oh my gosh, they have this perfect life, like they, could never be suffering, they could never have problems. I mean, you're, in the sorority, you were away in London, like, and then you released this song, and I was like, wait, she's not perfect? No, I'm kidding.
Definitely not. No, I think.
So talk to me about the process of making the song, what kind of caused it, and your experience at Berkeley as well.
Great question. Well, I think that I've honestly always really struggled with friendship, just in general. I account it on many different aspects, but number one, the ultimate reason why I wanted to study psychology was to understand myself better and understand how I could be a better human and better communicator and being more compassionate with everybody, including myself, and just being more gentle to myself. But I have always been a pretty independent person. I think that can be beautiful. It can also be very harmful when it comes to developing friendships and developing vulnerable and close friendships. So I wrote Find My Friends, not necessarily about any one specific friendship, but just some of the experiences I've had with different people and how I have felt not fully understood by another person, but also doing a lot of introspection and trying to understand from their perspective, what was I not giving them as a friend as well. So the reason why I say that I consider myself to be very independent is I think sometimes that comes across as I don't need other people. I don't need other friends. I don't need you guys in my life necessarily. And so the second verse, for example, is never get the invite unless I ask you first. Tell me that you don't care, that just makes it worse. So that was about, I would see my friends on Find My Friends, that's what it's called, Find My Friends, all hanging out without me. And I realized, well, I'm actually not putting myself out there to want to hang out with them, because they probably think that, oh, I'm doing music, because I am very busy, but also sometimes I fear in friendships or in any type of relationship to be vulnerable and show that I don't have my life together. I'm still figuring it out every single day. I'm 21. I know nothing. I literally know nothing. And I was always scared to say, I don't have plans today, and I want to hang out with you guys, and I see all of you guys hanging out without me, but I'm just not going to say anything because it's easier to hide in this shell and hide behind Instagram and say that I'm always in the studio and whatever. And so what I was realizing is, just as much as I think that they aren't understanding me, I'm also not understanding them, and I don't know how they work, and I don't know what type of friend that they are looking for in order to feel really understood and loved. And I think I wrote this song for my friends like 2 years ago.
Really?
Yeah, and it's been a long process and like very long song in the making. And I've noticed as I continue to perform it and listen to the song, my perspective of the meaning of the lyrics changed every single time, because when I wrote it before I went to London, when I was in college, knowing that I wanted to pursue music as a career, but still just not feeling like my full self, because I just had less clarity on my end goals in life, which I feel like I have a much stronger grasp of now. I didn't really know what I was doing wrong in friendships and why I felt so isolated from people. But then I went to London and I realized, wow, I actually have to put myself out there if I want to like survive in this new country. Like I went to school and I was like, I know nobody. Like I went with 2 other Berkeley students, one of which I never met, and the other which I was friends with, but like never really got to know very closely. I was living in LSE housing, so all of my roommates were British. They like barely talked to me, and so I just felt very alone. And like you're navigating a new country, you're like navigating new cultures and customs. The sun was setting at 3 p.m. Like I just didn't know what was going on. And I realized everything that I knew about independence completely did a 180. Because independence is not doing everything by yourself. It's actually being so confident in your identity where you can put yourself out there in any and take as many risks as you want, because you know that you're secure enough in yourself where your opinion of yourself is not going to be tarnished if someone rejects you. So yeah, London was a very transformative experience for me because it taught me that friendship is such a two-way street, and it really requires you to be vulnerable and to say that you don't know what you're doing sometimes, and that's completely fine. Like it is beautiful to ask for help, and it actually shows so much strength. And I thought it was such a weakness if I said that I didn't know how to do everything on my own, especially being an independent artist, like not signed to anybody. I thought that I could do everything on my own. Would you want some? Definitely. I think that the allure of a label is definitely increasing today because everyone can be an artist just because everyone can post on TikTok, Instagram, whatever. But it's more so for like the network and the support of people. And not only the people, but all of their other clients, all of their other artists, because like that's how APT with Rose and Bruno Mars got created, because they're both signed to the same label. So that's how they connected. Like I want opportunities to be able to collaborate with other like-minded artists that know the same people, that have the talk to the same managers and have the same community. So yeah, a label would definitely be the goal. But by my friends, yeah, it's really interesting because it's the most like upbeat song that I've ever written.
I know.
But the lyrics are like some of the most vulnerable.
She pulled an anti-hero.
Yeah. But I think that's really beautiful because it shows also the duality of my personality, because I come across as like put together stuff, but I'm so unhinged. Like if you hung out with me for more than an hour, you would know, like even the way I text you is insane.
Yes. I love it. You never know what to expect. It could be like zen, or it could be like, holy shit, what?
Yeah. So I think I'm really proud of that song because I think it's also the first time I just fully surrendered to the music making process. My first EP, Spice, for example, really took a lot of inspiration from neo-soul female artists that I still love and admire, and they're my favorite of all time. But I was trying so hard to emulate them because I knew that if I did something similar to Sade, Cleo Soul, Leona Havas, her, whatever, it would be well received because people would be familiar with it. But Find My Friends feels like the first one that's like Sophia and nobody else, you know? And I feel that is a very like common through line with my new music, it feels very.
Hopefully hear us.
I'll send you so many
No,
demos.
I want to hear.
I felt very intuitive when I was writing the songs this summer, and I love performing them. And I think that really stems from just this unwavering sense of like radical acceptance and confidence of my current self. That was a very long-winded answer,
No,
so I hope that.
No, because I feel like it's a whole new era that you're entering.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm excited.
Yeah, it's a new era.
Okay, about London, I am curious. One, my family's from London partially, so I visit all the time. Did you end up liking it in the end?
Oh, I love London.
Oh, okay.
Oh my god. It was the most transformative year of my life. I think not only did I learn so much about how to make new friends and put myself out there, but I had never been more passionate about learning in a really long time. I think the curriculum at London School of Economics, where I was studying, was so just invigorating because all of my classes were year-long classes. That's why I went for a year, because it didn't make sense to only go for a semester. And I was put in the School of Social Policy, and most of the classes that I was taking were to fulfill my political econ minor electives, because that's my minor here at Berkeley, because I fulfilled a lot of my psych requirements already, but I still took 2 psychology classes. But I just felt so inspired when I came to class because, first of all, there's no homework. The entire classes are graded based on like one final or one project.
Yeah,
at the end of
and
the
you have
year.
revisions.
And so the only quote unquote homework that you had during the year was readings, but it wasn't reading and then you have to write a reflection like Berkeley, which sometimes like takes the fun out of it. It was just readings and write down whatever you want or you don't write anything down. So I was coming to class. No one had computers out. Some didn't have any material. Some had little notepads with pens, and everyone was just so excited to discuss things.
And I was like, everyone really wants to be.
No, everyone wanted to be there, and then I was like, maybe I want to be here. And I was so excited to actually go to class and learn for the sake of learning. Like, I didn't care what my grade was. I ended up doing well because I wasn't stressed out about anything. And it was just such a stark difference, I think, from my like first couple of years at Berkeley when I was still deciding what I wanted to major in, and I was taking stats and econ and just like things that made me really
unhappy.
Yeah, not excited to go to class. And I was really excited to go to class, and as a result of that, my entire mindset around learning and just having new experiences, I feel like very much shifted. That could also be because I was just getting older, like. Every single time that we grow a year older, we're maturing. And
the Berkeley curriculum, even the strongest soldier falls. I had on Wednesday 3 midterms back to back, and
how did they go?
First one, I think I ate.
Okay.
Ish. To be fair, that one's mostly just regurgitate information, so it's all about memorization. Second one, microecon.
Oh.
But it's like microecon for business analytics, so it involves calc.
That sounds like a nightmare.
No, I walked out and I was just like, wow, it's over.
Yes.
Honestly,
that's like the mindset that you should have with things. Like,
it's like, there's nothing you can do now. So I'm just gonna let it go. And then my last of the day was a 30-minute presentation.
Okay.
In class.
And that was fine? No?
It was fine. I just didn't like my group.
Oh.
I never see this, but I've never been so upset. And everyone at this school is smarter than you except the people in your group projects.
Why is that so true?
You're always like, you see people next to you, you're like, damn, like, whoa,
yeah.
they're 98 and stuff. And then it's always the person or the people in your group that you're like,
why?
Do you go here? Like, that is hilarious. It's like the Mean Girls thing of like, he doesn't even go here. Like, that is how I felt. I was in the Zoom call with the 7 other people. Tell me why no one was talking and it was due in like 4 days.
Oh my god, what is up with people just like leaving you on herd? Like, it just, I don't understand it.
All the cameras off. Meanwhile, like, my camera's on, I'm like smiling, I'm like, hey guys.
I just like give up at this point. I'm like, hello?
No, because I'm like, we're too old for this. You know, like, you guys are entering the work.
But no, what happens, I think COVID really changed this because that's when people started getting comfortable just not saying anything, even if their camera was on looking straight into their teacher's eyes.
Left on
now, no, that's what I'm saying. Now it like translates into person. Yes. Like, in person. Like, there have been multiple discussions I've gone to where the teacher asks a question and it's like literally nothing.
No one says anything.
And I try to participate, but sometimes I get like peer pressured into silence as well.
Were you silent or were you silence?
Yeah, both.
Alright, on that note, I will sort of end this off, I guess. So, XOXO Cooley Girl. Mwah! Bye, guys.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming on. So cute.